To West Springfield, Massachusetts. We're now in the Beth Israel Cemetery, and in this cemetery, it's one of 4 cemeteries, and this was the first one purchased. And actually, I believe they probably purchased all the land and made up all 4 of them, and then started selling off. I cannot prove that yet, but I want to someday. So this is the first of 4 Jewish cemeteries. Is the Bethel Cemetery, the first in the line, as it sweeps from west to east. The next one adjacent to it is B'nai Jacob. The next one after that is a portion of Bethel, and then after that is the Kodama. All right, and so you have 4 cemeteries all in a row, and they all can use the beautiful chapel that is owned by the Kodama, but they can all use that. And so we're going to talk about first the baby section. And they usually try to put the baby section in the front of these Jewish cemeteries. One of them only has Jewish script on it, Hebrew script, and the others have either both or only English. And you can see some of the early dates, 1910, and a lot of them 1915. And there's a couple more babies a little further upwards, and there's one in the second row. And I believe that there's a lot more, probably all the way to the very edge here. So these are the ones with stones, but there's a lot more of the babies in this section. And people like to buy this plots in this section because they're smaller and cheaper in money, and thus you don't have to pay very much to put the child in the ground. Right? And you can see there's a lamb on one of them, Harry Solon, son of Michael and Rose Solon. All right, now this cemetery has about 5 or maybe 4 rows that belong on this side, the right side, as you drive in the driveway. And then the other side, it also has 4 rows, and they're trying to fill them up, of course. And this is the first cemetery that was probably put out here. It was probably purchased from the St. Thomas Cemetery. They probably gave them some of the land and they purchased it. Land was cheaper out here than in Springfield. The synagogue itself for this synagogue or temple is in Springfield. It doesn't exist anymore. In the year 2007, the congregation B'nai Torah was formed out of the merger of Beth Israel, Kesser Israel, and Kodamo. And so this Beth Israel went out of existence at that point. And what this cemetery is, thus, is one of 3 owned by that new synagogue, has a 2007. But the old synagogue itself was in Springfield in the beginning. It was the second one ever made in Springfield. It was preceded 1 year earlier by B'nai Jacob in 1881, but Beth Israel came in existence in 1882. It had a location called Grays Avenue Shul. Their second location came about in 1923. It was at 565 Chestnut Street, and that's still there, right? And it would become later the Hispanic Pentecostal Church. So it's still there, and so you can still see the old temple for Beth Israel. All right, now this cemetery thus is very old. There should be some very old barrels inside of here, and most of the old barrels are further up. So you had some old baby barrels here, but the old ones are much further up. And so as you walk up this main strip, you'll be able to see some of those old ones, especially about 30 yards up from the entrance, and especially on the left, but there's some on the right also. And it's the smallest of the 4 Jewish cemeteries out here. It started out on this land here, but it sold much of it, and thus it's the smallest now. So going up to the top of this road, and that's the end of this particular cemetery. All right, and there's a lot of nice ones to show. So what we're going to do is we're going to have 2 panoramics for you. All right. So on this side is more of the modern stuff, but we have some of the older stuff on the right. Then the baby section, and then the synagogue is there in a short distance. And then you have the gate back here. It's the only one of the 4 that don't have columns for its gates to tell you where you are, but they do have a sign hitched to the fence to tell you where you are. All right, and there is one pedestrian gate if you ever come after hours, there's a pedestrian gate right in the corner that and also hooks to the St. Thomas gate. All right, so keep that in mind if you want to visit after hours. Now on the other side here, it might start off being modern, but within 30 yards on the left-hand side, you get to some very old ones. All right, now we're going to give you one more beautiful panoramic to show off these multiple cemeteries. And as you swim, you probably saw some really cool things. I can see 3 sets of very tall gravestones that are twins of one another, probably husband and wives, and so you should visit those. And also we swept by the St. Thomas Cemetery, so you can visit that also. A lot to see up here. Thank you.